Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Caesar.
And I'm Martha.
And welcome to the third episode of the Inner Wider Screen podcast, where
two idiots who know nothing about movies talk about movies.
So as you can see, we are back in studio.
Yeah.
A whole situation cleared up. Though it was fun to try that little Zoom experiment.
It's good to know now in the future if we need to go back on Zoom, we have that option.
Yeah, but we definitely prefer this in-person environment. It's definitely
Works
easier
better.
to bully you here. And I'm sure vice versa.
Yeah, it's definitely the other way around.
And
sure.
you're definitely going to want to bully me after this. I don't know if you can see this outfit. Look at that.
So we said that we would try and dress as like our middle school selves.
Oh, yes.
And I attempted to do that, and then I got too many war flashbacks. And
Yeah, I mean, I
took it off
We're going to
immediately.
get into those war flashbacks today. Today's movie is going to be...
8th grade.
So we will get into that. But first, the most prestigious, most important night in movies is coming up next Sunday. And that is the... Oscars. So we thought it'd be appropriate to, at least for the major categories, because Martha's not caught up in the race.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
Which is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, are they meaningless? Yes.
I
But
have things to say about that, but I'll get to that at a later time.
we can, well, next week, I will say this, next week we are going to go over the winners. So I don't know if...
Yeah,
maybe
we'll go over the winners. We'll save that for
We'll save that for next week. So just keep that in mind. But right now...
We're going to go over our
Oscar predictions. We're going to do the major categories, so we're only going to do the acting, races, director, and picture. So if you want to see us talk about some of the other categories, we'll talk about what the winners. But we just don't have time and don't know what's going on.
Yes. So
I had to catch her up. So
you go ahead and get started.
okay. So the first category we're going to go over is Best Supporting Actor, and the nominees are Sacha Baron Cohen in The Trial of Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, Paul Raci for Sound of Metal, and Lakeith Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah. I think this is a lock. I think Daniel Kaluuya will take this easily. He's won everything.
All right.
What do you think?
So I should actually explain my method to choosing these. So I had every intention of watching every single one of these movies. I did. And a lot of them looked so good, and I really, really wanted to watch them. But I'm also a full-time student and a part-time worker, and I have no life. So I didn't have any time to watch these movies.
I got it.
So I've watched a couple of them, but I didn't want to compare them to the movies that I haven't seen because I felt like that wasn't fair. So I decided to make it fun rather than watching all of these movies in 2 days. So I put all the names up on a dartboard and I just threw darts. And I let my lack of skill playing darts choose who was going to win. So
who did they choose for this category?
the darts chose Lakeith Stanfield.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah.
So another Judas guy. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what the
Well,
darts
I'm
chose.
sorry to tell you, Lakeith is not winning this award.
Okay, well, the darts failed me though.
No, Lakeith was actually a surprise in this category because they were campaigning him for lead actor, and Kaluuya was supporting, but then they nominated both of them for supporting.
Interesting.
And some people were like, well, what if they split the votes? They're not splitting the votes. He's won everything. I think, have you seen Judas and the Black Messiah?
I didn't get to see
He
it.
deserves it. If you need to see it, he's so good in it. But also, one last note, I don't know why Sacha Baron Cohen's in this category. Have you seen Trial Chicago 7?
No, but I didn't even know he was in this movie.
He is. And I will say, I liked his role, but I don't know why he's here.
Yeah, when I first saw his name, I didn't read the name of the movie. I thought it was for
Borat?
And I was like,
I think he's
what?
more deserving of being here for Borat, honestly, than this, but...
I was a little confused to it.
All right, so you're saying Lakeith because of the darts.
Because the darts told me.
Okay, I want to try something. So your darts say it, but I want you to try to justify why you think your darts picked that. Just anything. Any reason.
He good actor.
He is a good actor. We love Lakeith here. All right, next category then. Best Supporting Actress. We have Maria Bakalova in Borat, subsequent movie film. Glenn Close, Hillbilly Elegy. Olivia Colman in The Father. Amanda Seyfried in Mank. And Yoo Jung-young in Minari. I'm saying Yoo Jung-young wins this. There was actually a pretty wide open race until the SAG Awards and BAFTA. She's won both of those. So it seems pretty clear, I think, that she's going to win this one. I won't say it's a lock, but
All right.
I wanted your darts pick on this.
My darts chose Glenn Close, Hillbilly Elegy.
See, what's crazy is I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility because she's been nominated, I think, 8 times and she's never won.
My darts know what they're talking about.
So we'll see. We'll see. I honestly would be disappointed if she won for this because I think she's good in it, but I would.
She's done better.
She's done better.
Yeah.
she was in 101 Dalmatians for crying for like come on.
True.
Come on. I was gonna say too. I know you haven't seen the movies too, but have you seen any of the nominated performances for supporting actor? If you have, we can do will win, should win. So who do you think should win? If you've seen any of those performances, or have you not seen?
No.
Okay. Well, I will say Kaluuya, I think, deserves to win, and I will say supporting actress. I actually would like to see Maria Bakalova win. I think she's so funny in Borat, and she has that scene with Rudy Giuliani.
Oh yeah,
That's,
I've heard about
the
that.
most terrifying thing, and I can't believe she committed herself to that scene. It was crazy.
I could never. So that does deserve an award.
That deserves an award on its own.
Being in a room with Rudy Giuliani.
Being around Rudy Giuliani without it's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we have now Best Actor. We have Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, the late great Chadwick Boseman in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins the Father, Gary Oldman in Mank, and Steven Yeun in Minari.
Okay.
I'll let the darts go first on this one.
The darts chose Steven Yeun.
No.
They're not. That's what the darts chose?
No, I think this is going to be... I think Chadwick's out front for sure, and I'm picking him...
I think I believe
I'm picking him to win too, but Anthony Hopkins has gotten some steam recently. I
actually did see Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
That's the one movie
That is the one movie I've seen so far.
And what do you think of his performance?
It was an incredible performance.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say that I fully enjoyed the movie because at some parts it was just very...
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? But like,
Same here. I thought it was fine.
I thought it was like a decent.
It was a decent movie, yeah.
But his performance was absolutely
top
incredible.
notch.
Yeah. So I have no doubt.
I mean, what better way to end your career than with that? Like, that's the perfect way to.
That was a great last performance for him.
I hope he wins too. I think. I just really hope they recognize him with this because he's won everywhere. But Hopkins won BAFTA, but he's also British. But The Father just came out, and people are loving that one, so people think he has a chance, and I guess he does. But
yeah.
I think this is Chadwick's, and I guess. Well, you picked your darts.
My darts picked Steven Yeun, but I picked
Chadwick Boseman. So that's what matters most because you've seen Chadwick and you know
and
he's deserving.
Yeah, I thought it was.
This is not just a pity award. Oh, he passed away. Like he's legit.
He genuinely deserved
I still think I don't know if he'd win if he was alive, but he'd definitely be nominated for sure. Okay. Best Actrice, we have Viola Davis in the one movie marked the scene, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Andra Day in The United States vs. Billie Holiday, which I think you've seen too.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Vanessa Kirby in Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand, Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman. So since you've seen 2 of these movies, I think you now have an expert opinion on this category. So I want to hear what you think.
Okay, so... based on the 2 movies I did see, I mean, Viola Davis, I think, did a really good job in the movie.
Yeah.
She's all around
always
just a great actress.
One of the best.
She's just always a classic. Andra Day, this was her first
movie, right?
Acting role. Yeah, this was her first, and I think she did an amazing job with it. For it being her first time, like you couldn't tell. Like it seemed like she was a pro. Like she knew what she was doing. And it was a heavy movie. Like there was a lot that she went through, that the character went through. So I think
she pulled it off.
She definitely pulled it off really well.
That's really good because that's actually the one I've not seen United States vs. Holiday yet. I did want to catch up onto it because I do think she has a chance to win.
Yeah.
I honestly think any of these women have a chance to win. This has been wide open from the beginning. I don't think there's a front runner here. Did your darts pick someone?
My darts chose Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman.
I would, that's actually my favorite performance out of these, so I would hope, but I think she's the least likely because she's the only one that's not won any awards so far.
Yeah.
But I feel like because it's so wide open, I'm not going to completely dismiss her, but I will say a lot of people are on Carey Mulligan's train because they love the movie. She won Critics' Choice. Frances McDormand won BAFTA, and Nomadland's like the big front runner for everything. Andra Day won the Golden Globe, and then Viola won SAG. So they've all kind of switched around. Like everyone's won something, so it's kind of like you can honestly just pick whatever.
Yeah, it's the darts.
Right. So maybe your darts are right. I would love that.
Wouldn't it be funny if the Academy Awards, like everyone is always like they're very prestigious and like they're like go through like very rigorous like decision making, but really
They just throw darts.
They're just throwing darts.
Dude, it feels like it sometimes.
So maybe my method is the correct way.
It definitely feels like that with the nominations sometimes, so I would not be surprised with the winners. Yeah,
So-
I mean, hopefully for this they use it because I think she's my favorite here, but I'm going to predict Carey Mulligan.
Okay.
I feel like Frances, she's won twice already. Andra Day, she's the only one that's nominated for that. Like, that movie only has one nomination. It's for her, which they've won that before, but I feel like that performance has to be like so out in front for it to win, and Viola's also won before. And also, I have a hard time believing they didn't nominate for Best Picture. I just feel weird thinking they would give it to actor and actress of the same movie when they didn't even put it in Best Picture.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I just find that hard to believe it would happen.
I get what you mean. But again, like I did make that argument. Like the movie itself isn't all there, but
Right.
the acting in it is incredible.
And who knows, people in the Academy probably feel the same way. They thought the movie was
Yeah.
okay, but those
But
two
the
are
acting was
incredible.
good, yeah.
So that's true.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm saying Carey Mulligan now, but I think I'm between her and Viola right now. I might switch, honestly. We have a week, but right now I'm going to say Carey Mulligan.
All right.
And your darts say Vanessa.
Vanessa
Do
Kirby.
you have a personal pick because you've seen two performances, or you're just going to follow your darts on this one?
I don't know, because I haven't seen the movie Pieces of a Woman, but the trailer, just like from the trailer, she looked like she did an incredible job.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So maybe my darts are right.
We'll see. We'll see.
see.
I don't think she'll win, but this
But-
category is just so wild.
My darts
Who
say
knows?
otherwise.
Oh, yeah, I guess we'll see. Okay, best director. The best auteurs. Here we go. We have Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, David Fincher for Mank, Lee Isaac Chung and Minari, Chloe Zhao, Nomadland, Emerald Fennell, Promising Young Woman. Have you seen any of these movies?
No, sir, I have not.
I have not seen Minari yet, or The Father, I will say, and I'm in the middle of Another Round. I've not finished it yet.
Okay.
It's pretty good so far. I'm really liking it. But this is Chloe Zhao's 100%. She's won everywhere. And once you finally get to see Nomadland, you'll see why. Like, it's such
Okay.
a beautifully put together movie.
All right, I'm excited.
Like, even there's people out there that are like, not for me, but they can acknowledge, like, this is, like,
It's still well done.
really, really well done. So, no, this is hers for sure. So,
Okay.
but I want to know if your darts picks.
Oh, my darts picked Emerald Fennell for Promising.
I think it will go to a woman, just not her.
Okay. Which I'm happy with. No matter what.
I think
as
it's
long
really.
as
I think
women.
also this is the first time two women have been nominated in the same year, which is awesome.
Awesome.
And I'm not the biggest fan of Promising Young Woman, but I'm cool with her in this category. So I think that's really cool. And the fact that a woman's going to win this year, I think she'll be the first, could be wrong, first woman of color to win. I think
so.
I think only Catherine Bigelow won. I think there's only been one female that's won director. So she'll be the first one of color.
Well,
So
there
that's
you
pretty
go.
cool. Pretty cool stuff.
It's only 2021.
Right. This is like the 90 however many Oscars,
God.
but hey, better late than never.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally we have the Best Picture nominees. We have The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of Chicago 7. I'm saying Nomadland. It's won everything is needed to win. It's going to win director. It's also going to win some other below the line categories too. It's just, I don't see anything topping it. Though I won't say it's a lock. I think Minari has a chance. And unfortunately, Trial of Chicago 7 too. But yeah, Nomadland's, I think Nomadland's the one.
My darts chose Minari.
I would be, if you're right,
It'd be crazy if I got
it
all
would be
of these
so
right.
crazy. What were your picks? I'm gonna try. You picked Minari for picture, Emerald Fennell for director, Vanessa Kirby for actress, Stephen Yeun for actor, Glenn Close for supporting actress, and Lakeith Stanfield for act.
Yep.
There's no way in hell that's happening.
But watch it actually come true.
I think
That'd be hilarious.
I will say, I think the only one, I think your most realistic dart pick is Minari. I think there's a chance that could happen.
If it happens where I got all of these right, you have to buy me lunch.
Oh, that's, yeah.
I'm just
done,
putting that out there.
Done.
Okay.
Done.
Cool. Just as long as we've
That's, okay, yeah. So, wow, you haven't seen any of these then, right?
not of Best Picture.
No. Okay. I still need to see The Father and Minari. I definitely want to watch those this week. I'm really excited to watch them.
I will. I'm gonna work on this list. I'm gonna make it through. By Oscar night, I will have probably watched one other
One of them. I will say, if you're gonna watch one, watch Nomadland because that's probably gonna win.
Nomadland? Okay,
And
I'll
that's
watch
on
that one then.
that's on Hulu.
Okay, I'll watch that then.
If you do have time to watch other ones, I know Judas and the Black. Actually, it was on HBO Max. I took it off.
And I had like planned on watching it one day, and then as I was like looking for it, I realized it was like the day after they took it off.
Yeah, it was only on there for 30 days, so I would just wait till it's available to rent.
So,
Manx on Netflix. Yeah. Nomadland Hulu. That's not streaming. Sound of Metal's on Prime, and Charlie Chicago is on Netflix too.
Yeah.
So
all right, so I'll get to that.
So those are just our quick little Oscar predictions. We'll go into the winners. We'll see how correct Martha Starts were.
We'll see
next week, and it's gonna be a very interesting. It's crazy that we had to wait till April to get these awards, but with everything going on, I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I know you mentioned too, you really want to get into something regarding the Oscars, and I'm sure you could touch on next week. I'm very curious what that'll be.
Did I say that?
You did say that. You were like, I have something to say about the Oscars.
Oh. I forgot.
All right, maybe we'll remember next week.
Remember.
All right, so the Oscars are on Sunday. I don't know what time, but they'll be there, and we'll be here next week to talk about them. So keep that in mind. Yeah. So let's get into this week's movie. We are talking about what?
8th Grade.
8th Grade. This is written and directed by the great Bo Burnham. This is his directorial debut. And so far, this is the only movie he's made, too. I would love to see him do something else.
Oh, absolutely. I think I've always been a big fan of his. I mean, I remember in high school...
You would show me his videos.
Yeah, I would watch his videos all the time, like his stand-up, and like he would like write all these like songs, and they were just so funny. Like he never failed to make me laugh, so I was really excited
I definitely want to catch up on his specials, because I know he started off on YouTube as a comedian a long time ago, and then he transitioned to stand-up.
Yeah.
And then he directed this, so...
And I think it was such an incredible job.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so yeah. So starting off, first impressions of the movie. When we saw it in theaters together.
We did. It was you, me, and my sister, I remember.
Yeah, so the movie, I think, like, overall, like... It's a movie that you're gonna watch and you're gonna cringe the entire time, and you're gonna you're gonna feel icky and you're gonna hate it
100%, and
then you're gonna leave the movie loving it. That is the only movie that I've ever seen that the entirety of the movie I hated it. I hated every second of it.
But you hated it for the right reasons.
For the right reasons.
Yeah, because it was doing everything right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but then I leave it hating it, and it's so weird to me that that's the case, but I think that just like is a testament to how good of a movie it is.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love this movie too. This was my first time seeing it since theaters with you. Yeah, I saw it twice the last couple of days actually to just really wrap my head around everything.
Get into it.
Yeah, it's like, I get what you're saying, especially like watching it again. I don't think I felt the cringe as much the first time because you're experiencing it all at once.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it was just like, I think for me too, the cringe was just how authentic like the depiction of social anxiety was. Because I've been going through that for years now. Like it's been really bad. So I just I felt everything.
So perfect, like everything, like down, and it's the little details that are part of it. Like there's the whole thing with like the way that they talk is so natural.
Oh yeah,
is that they have all these pauses, they stumble over their
She never
words.
like can really commit to a thought. It's always like and
there's so many filler words, and there's like the parts in when she's like filming her videos and she's talking, she's like
she's like anyway I don't know and you know what's crazy about those? You would think because of how natural it feels that those were her improvising. That was scripted.
It was scripted, and that's incredible. But actually, I saw an interview where he was talking about how he would give her the script the day of, like that
really?
Of like what she was going to be going over, so that it was like almost all memorized, but that there was still room for her to mess up and forget the lines, so that way it seemed more natural. It felt more natural. So it wasn't like so perfectly articulated, and that everything, like nothing was messed up in it. Yeah. And I think that's what made it like so perfect, and it made it seem so real, because it's not like, because you see movies with like teenagers and they talk in metaphors.
Oh my
and
God.
They're super deep and like all of this stuff. And
I don't talk like that. I loved how he avoided that cringy dialogue where like, you know, like a lot of these movies with kids are like hashtag selfie.
Yeah. So it's like in two different directions. It's either like they're not realistic at all because it's because they talk like they're adults, or they're not realistic at all because they talk like stereotypes of teenagers.
Right. Like how adults think teenagers talk. Yeah. When it's like clearly you've never talked to a teenager or been around teenagers before.
So I think those little things that he did really added to the overall effect of the movie.
Right. Like they still say stupid things, but
Yeah.
it's not
But
the stupid things that adults think they would say.
It's a stupid thing that a teenager would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they actually would say something that's stupid, but they wouldn't
Yes.
say the stupid thing that you think.
Yeah.
It's really stupid because you thought they would say something stupid, but it's stupid because you thought that was stupid.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's just like overall that
I mean, especially too, I gotta start with this. Gucci!
Gucci.
Oh my God.
Okay, so the videos she does,
Yeah.
I think I like it because of the duality of it. Because on one hand, it's like a funny little quirky thing that she's like, oh, because she struggles with this like anxiety and is trouble like being herself around people. But so with the videos, like this is her like trying to be like this like cool girl,
Right.
you know, that she wants to be. But then like when you really think about it, like you like listen to what she's saying, she is like telling her trauma to the camera, but in a way that doesn't look like it's her trauma.
Yeah.
And it gets like really deep.
It's like she is trying to separate herself.
yes, she's
from it.
trying to make her seem like she's not that person. And she's trying to convince not only the audience, but herself.
Yeah.
While making these videos. And I think that's really interesting.
I mean, it's always her giving advice that she herself doesn't follow,
she
or
doesn't
she's
take.
trying,
Yeah.
but she can't. And
She
I
wants
mean,
to
I know that all too well. I remember like my friends in 8th grade, I'd be like, oh, like giving them advice all the time, stuff I would never follow
stuff
myself.
I never knew. Yeah, I remember one time I was like trying to give my friend advice on like how to put on makeup. I didn't put on makeup until I was in high school. I was like a sophomore in high school before I started wearing makeup. But I was like, oh, I know everything because like
Dude, yeah, my friends would go to me for like relationship questions. I'd be like, you know what, you should.
Yeah.
I didn't get into a serious relationship until after I graduated high school.
so like it doesn't.
I mean.
There's no point in asking, but like you try and become this person, and I think that is again like another perfect part of like building these characters to make them seem so realistic. So I think that the whole videos that she does throughout the movie is really interesting to see.
Yeah, and they actually shot those last.
Really?
And the Gucci thing was not scripted, but they would always see her like say it on the set like randomly. So they were like, you should end your videos with Gucci, and that's how she did it.
That's awesome. Wow,
like,
I didn't even know that.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, so I think that was good.
But definitely like with Elsie Fisher, man, she's like
She did a really good
so
job.
perfect. Like literally, like, I mean, talking about just the anxiety she feels, like she nails all the little mannerisms, like with the ums and ahs, but even physically, just like the way she like is always slouching and looking down
the
the
way
ground.
she walks.
Yeah, and like always like rubbing her arms.
Yes.
And like it's just like I feel
about it.
everything that you're doing.
It's like you understand it so perfectly, and I think that's incredible. So I think in terms of like casting, it is a smaller cast, like of like the people, because it's
really the main cast is her and her dad.
and then there's like a revolving door of people
Right.
that come around and like play into the plot a little bit, which is another thing I do want to talk about. I think it's interesting because it's when you're in middle school, there's like, for her it was like there was that hot guy that was like super important at like certain points, but then like she would like forget that he existed, which I think is again another thing that's like happens in middle school. It's like someone can be so important 1 second and then suddenly you're just like, wait, what? Well, who was that again?
But
and
also you're so glad he forgets about that guy.
Yeah,
Because he's like
so
he's just a classic middle school douche.
Yes, exactly. So like I think that was another part that I really liked, that they like would add in these characters and then just kind of like make them not relevant anymore.
That's great. Yeah, really the only ones that stayed, I would say, full circle was her dad.
Yeah, her and her dad, that was it.
Which I think that relationship I loved.
I loved the relationship between the two of them.
So her dad was played by Josh Hamilton, who I don't think I've seen in a movie before either.
Didn't he play the dad in Fault in Our Stars? I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't know.
I think he did.
I don't think so, but I don't know. I have not seen that in a long time.
All dads look the same in those teen movies.
They really do.
But I really loved the relationship with the dad. I think I liked his character a lot because it reminds me of my dad. Because he
definitely has a dad vibe about him.
He's such a dad.
He's such a dad.
Where it's like they're very helpful, and like all you do is just like push them away, like, oh, you're annoying, go away.
Right.
But like they're just, but like at the end of the day, they're still going to be there, like comfort you and be there for you.
They're still gonna like. They still
thanks,
try
Dad.
to care for sure.
Also, after seeing this movie again, I just I'm sorry to my parents.
Dude, yeah, I hope. I'm sure I acted like that growing up, and I'm sorry.
The angst, it's like the only like having the headphones in and just on your phone the whole time.
Dude, yeah, she's like, your food's getting cold. I like it cold.
Yeah, like there's like so much sass. Like everything that he says to her, she has something to say back.
Yeah.
To. And I'm sorry.
I'm sure
because that was totally me as a teenager.
I'm sure maybe sometimes there's still points where my 8th grade self slips in there too. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, mom and dad, for those
I'm sorry.
moments
Currently, actually, never went away. Yeah.
But like, it's definitely clear from that first scene that there's distance between them, and it's like you don't really know why. But I noticed a lot whenever they were both on screen, they were always on like opposite ends of the frame. And so I was just like, okay, there's clearly like...
It was never them two in a scene. Like, even when they were, like, sitting in the car together, there was that one scene where he was driving her to...
The pool party?
No, I think...
The mall.
The mall. It was the mall. And she was like, stop looking at me like that. But you could never see his face.
Yeah.
Because the camera was only on her.
It was only focused on her, right.
And so, I didn't understand completely why that they chose to film it like that, to where it was like they didn't show his face. But now that you say it like that, it makes more sense to me now. Why they did that, why they never had them in the same frame. It was because it was trying to show that there was a disconnect there until that scene at the campfire.
Then they were like literally together.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that scene.
Which was a beautiful
sweetest
scene.
thing, too.
It was amazing. I think it was a great way
because it finally just came together that like why was there conflict, and she's like, I feel like I make you sad, like I don't make you happy as a daughter or whatever, and he's like, are you crazy? Why would you think like you make me the happiest dad in the world? And he's just talking there. She just goes and hugs, and I'm like,
you're just like, okay. Yeah, no, it's so sad, but it's like such a beautiful scene because like she goes and she's like, oh, I'm burning my hopes and dreams in the fire, and he's like, but why?
Right.
And he again, like he's still there, like 100% trying to be like comfort her and be good to her, even though she's just been a brat the whole movie.
Though he does have that one scene when he shows up at the mall.
Oh, okay. Actually, I want to talk about that because again, another parallel, because there's so many parallels with this movie to my life, and I think for a lot of people. Okay. So let me tell you, let's spin you a little tale. So I was in middle school. I was in 8th grade. Funny enough, I was in yearbook in 8th grade, and
you were in yearbook?
I was, yeah.
Oh, you probably told me this. I don't remember.
And at the end of the year, we had a little like goodbye party because we were all leaving. Mm-hmm. So we decided we would have like a fun scavenger hunt at La Cantera at the mall in San Antonio. So I was really excited because I'd never been anywhere without my parents, like with like a bunch of like school friends, without any parents.
This was your first taste of freedom.
Yeah, without any parents around. So I was really excited. So we do the scavenger hunt, and I'm sitting inside of Barnes & Noble, and then...
Your comfort place.
Yeah, my comfort place. I was just drinking a Starbucks, thinking I'm all adult. And I think it was Brianna who was with me, or her friend was like, is that your brother? And like we see him like going up it was like my like dad or something going up the escalator behind us. So I was like, oh my God. And then I turn to the side and I see my mom like peeking behind some bookshelves. And then I turn again and my brother's there too.
They brought the whole family out to spy on me.
They brought the whole family to spy on me. It was ridiculous. So I 100%
You felt that? I'm
scene.
so glad to say I did not feel that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised I did not feel that.
So
that's funny.
That's a fun experience for me.
So were they like trying to hide and were just terrible at it, or they just did not care if you saw them or not?
I think they were genuinely trying to hide, but like my brother was like behind a bookshelf. My brother's very tall.
Right.
So you could see him above the bookshelf and he was like peeking and trying to like come back down.
Your mom and dad, I feel like wherever they are, they make themselves known, whether they try to or not.
Yes, they're very loud people. So there's no hiding with them.
Yeah.
So that was a fun experience.
Yeah. That's so funny. But but I love that relationship. I think definitely the story is about her and her anxiety, but I think that relationship's like the most important to her for sure.
Yeah.
And I think they pulled that off.
Definitely.
So well.
And I think so. Speaking of like, I want to add in one more character that I saw in an interview with him. Like he mentioned, his quote was, "The internet is its own character," which I think was really cool to see that because like it does play such a prominent role throughout the movie.
Definitely.
Her relationship with the internet,
with the social media and all that. Yeah.
She spends the whole time like buried in her phone, and I think that that plays into that social anxiety that she has because she's like constantly living behind the screen.
Yeah.
She has trouble like coming out, which like
in person with reality
and again, that's something that like I can totally relate to. I mean, like in middle school, we
already had Instagram and Snapchat. It was just starting, but it was like still there for us to like consume ourselves with.
Yeah, so like I remember Instagram then, I feel like it was a lot easier to deal with than it is now, because at the time it was just starting out. So I remember when people would like post pictures of like selfies with their friends and stuff, but it would be mostly like funny pictures.
Oh, I'd post like 20 memes a day. It was obnoxious.
It was like only memes that like I would be posting. Like I wasn't focused on like getting so many likes or anything like that. Like that wasn't the big thing at the time. So I think that is one part that I feel like a little bit disconnected from, because we are at a different generation, but I feel like in a way neither of us go on social media very often. I'm not a social media person at all. No. Yeah, I don't have Instagram. I go on Twitter every once in a while.
Yeah. I just use TikTok because the videos are funny, but I don't post on there.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I feel like that's the one thing that we weren't the target audience in that sense.
But I feel it though, because I did have social media at one point, and I can just imagine how I felt. I mean, pretty much the reasons I got off was because of the way she felt on it, and I can just imagine how that felt. Like how I felt, like I'm sure must have been so much worse for someone her age in that group.
Absolutely.
And like,
it's tough with social media, and I think that's what is another part of this movie that makes it so good, is because it's like a funny, enjoyable movie, but it also has these like calls to like in a way like a call to action, like, hey, this is a funny movie, but also social media sucks. Like take yourself out of it.
But at the same time, I don't think he's like trying to hammer a message, because even he's acknowledged he's acknowledged the internet. I mean, without the internet, he wouldn't be where he is today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the internet does have its pros, like definitely too. But he's also acknowledging that this is what the reality is for these kids. Like they're consuming themselves. Like even he described with Kayla, every time she's on the internet, it was kind of like a religious experience for her. And you see like how much she consumes stuff on Instagram and Tumblr and like everything. And even that one scene where her dad walks in and she throws her phone and cracks it. Dude, when she picks her phone back up and it's cracked, we all feel the pain. But you feel the pain because we know how valuable our phone is to us, and how like it's just
so it's little things like that I thought was another interesting, a nice little touch to the movie, with the whole thing with the internet. So
definitely. I mean, but it was just
overall, I think, we've kind of got to a little
off track.
So I think that was another part. So another part that I did want to talk about is the one scene that I felt sick to my stomach watching it. God. You saw my reaction in theaters. Do you remember that?
There's two scenes that for me that are like that, but I know which one you're talking about.
I'm talking about the car scene.
100%.
After she hung out with those high school kids, and it was with that high school boy who was a senior, and the manipulation happened.
Oh my God, scene. Oh my goodness.
I genuinely, I felt sick watching
Easily
it.
The most uncomfortable, intense, like anxiety inducing scene.
It's so horrible. It's such a horrible scene,
because it's just, you're watching someone taking advantage of her, and they know they have this power dynamic over her. As someone who's 4 years old, a senior in high school, and she's in 8th grade, and she's clearly showing signs of being uncomfortable.
She's so uncomfortable, but
she can't really express it. Because of how socially anxious she is.
She feels like she doesn't have that power. Eventually, I love that.
And the power,
the power that in that split second where he's trying to push her to take off her shirt, and she's like, no. Yeah, she screams no. So that I'm like, okay, good. But then I feel horrible after, because then she keeps saying, she keeps apologizing.
He berates her. He's like, I was just trying to help you. You're gonna show up in high school with no experience. Guilt tripping her.
And it's just,
and she's sitting there apologizing and feeling sorry, like she's the one who was in the wrong.
Yeah, and in the end, she's like, don't tell Olivia, her new high school friend. She thinks that she did something wrong there. And it hurts to see that. I hated that.
Because even though it didn't end the way that we expected it to, and that's a relief, it still was wrong. It still was terrible what happened.
So
she was
bad.
Still
that's a world of trauma right there.
Yeah, it was still something that's emotionally scarring for her.
Absolutely. So that
it's it didn't have to go all the way for it to be something that affects her emotionally,
Yeah, so that scene was rough. And the scenes leading up to it, I 100% see how she got. don't want to say how she got herself in that situation. That sounds horrible. But I meant like in terms of like meeting the high school student, meeting the older kid. Because like I remember like when I was in middle school and like meeting like the 8th graders who were like in theater with me, and I was like, oh my God, they're so cool. I can't wait to be them. Like anyone who's older than you automatically assume like they have their life figured out. They're cooler than you, easy.
Right.
And so like she was getting so excited to be around these people, and then like she actually,
and they were so accepting of her. Like when she met Olivia, dude, I was so worried that whoever she got matched up with at the high school was gonna be like, just that. So, but she showed up being the sweetest person to her, and like kind of like nervous like she was. And
yes, she was.
It's like finally something herself. Good is happening to her. And then she's like, okay, come out with my friends, and you're like, okay, like this is cool.
Olivia kind of reminded me of. I don't know about you, more about me. Remember in high school when we would give those tours for
middle schoolers?
Was it the middle schoolers that came? I know
they would just show up randomly sometimes.
No,
they'd be like, the middle schoolers are coming. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was the incoming freshmen.
Okay.
And we would show them around the school. Remember that? Like we went as groups. We each had groups.
I don't think I ever did it.
You were there because you were representing.
I was probably
the news crew.
I think I was like filming.
Yeah,
it or something.
you were like in the basement or something.
Right.
But I was actually
where I always
leading,
was.
I was leading one of the groups with like my friends, and I remember we were always like, oh, we're so cool. Like we're older than them and we know more. And like looking back, I knew nothing. I was a child. Like I didn't know anything. But when you're that
young, dude, you look up to them and you think like you're saying they just know everything. They're just as clueless as you are.
Yeah. We're all,
if not more.
Yeah, like not a lot changes. I mean, obviously a lot changes from middle school to high school, but not as much as you think it does.
No.
So, and I think that was another part with like Kayla trying to figure out. She was like, I can't wait to just like get out of here because then everything's going to change immediately.
Yeah, man, it's not always the case.
That's not always the case, but
at the end of the movie, she does feel hope for it, which
I think is beautiful. Which I wrote that quote down. Her the last thing she says, which was. Where did it go? Oh, stay cool. She says, stay cool and I can't wait to be you, which I think was such a nice way to end the movie because it was just like a perfect little thing. Like after everything that she's been through, it's just like because the whole movie I think takes place in like over a week. The last week
I think it's like 5 days
of middle school for her. So like after all of that, she still has like this like bright outlook on the future. Like she still sees the future as something to look forward to, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, especially because there's moments where she watches that old video she posted before middle school, like saying like, "Oh, I hope do you have a boyfriend by now?" and all that. And then she's like crying because she's like she didn't like I guess live up to how she saw herself being. And it's like, it's just so nice by the end that she has hope again.
She still has hope again. She regains that.
And then oh my God, her friendship with that boy.
With that
it's so adorable.
It's adorable, but it's so awkward.
It's so cringy.
It's so hard to watch it happen, but it's also like you're so happy for her.
Yeah.
That she's finally like, she's making a friend.
She's making a friend and she's also seeing someone else that's also nervous too.
Just
like it's okay to be nervous.
Yeah. So like it's her way of being like, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Right.
So it's nice to see that, but it's also really hard to see it.
Oh my God, the way they're just, I got all the different kinds of sauces here for these nuggets.
And the way he talks.
And then Rick and Morty. And like.
I started quoting Rick and Morty. It was hilarious. It's that whole like scene with the dinner with like, it's so adorkable is what.
Adorkable, that's a good
adorkable. But yeah, I loved that
and
scene.
then to reference that character, I did want to mention too the where he first shows up in that pool scene.
The pool party.
Because to me, in the entire movie, that was like the best depiction of what social anxiety is. Like,
I was like pool party, like pool of insecurities.
100%. Yeah.
As someone who grew up like with a pool and like throwing pool parties, like being the person to throw the pool party is still very nerve wracking. Like
poor you.
I know.
I'm kidding.
That sounds horrible.
No. I'm like, I never got invited to one, but you could throw them.
I moved out before before we became friends. So it's just like going to pool parties was just always so like nerve wracking, especially if it's like a big group of people because it's just like a bunch of teenagers. And teenagers are scary, man.
Especially when you don't know anyone or you're not friends with anyone. And also to the feeling that the girl that invites her is like, well, my mom told me to invite you, so here it is. It's like you don't feel wanted being there.
Forced to go to that sort of part. Like, it's... Going to, like, those birthday parties are hard enough. Yeah. Especially... But, like... but then being forced to go is even worse.
And her trying to put herself out there is like,
yeah, and like immediately getting rejected.
So when she gets inside the house and immediately has a panic attack, it's like I
felt that. Yeah, absolutely. Like it's hard, and even if it was with people you there's still moments that are like overwhelming.
Dude, I still see my friends. There's times I've seen you. I still get anxious, and I can't explain it.
Yeah,
like, I've known you for years. I don't know. I don't know.
I've been there too. Yeah, I get it. And so like seeing her go through that was like, it was another thing that was like, oh, like it hits home a little too much.
Yeah, and I think that's what you were saying added to like the cringe of it. It's like, I feel it too much. I don't want to feel this again, but it's like, it's so real and so cool that they're actually portraying it the way they are, like so authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like overall, it's just like.
And then there's that. So I noticed too, a lot of the times, like the camera will sometimes be like tight on her face. And there'll be times where she's like trying to involve herself in a situation and she'll be kind of like mumbling along to stuff. And I know, I guess that was just kind of to show her like trying to be socially involved. But for me, I've had a feeling before with anxiety where it's like, even though this is obviously not happening, you have a feeling everyone's looking at you and your face and your reactions. And
yes.
I might be reaching, but when I saw that, it felt like to me, it's like it focused on her because it in her mind, everyone's looking at her and her reactions, even though it's clearly not the case.
That's not, yeah, absolutely. Again, and then that's another, like, there's so many little details that add up to make this perfect character to represent so many people. And it's just like everything that she's feeling, you've felt yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know exactly what she's going through. So there's never a point in the movie where I was like, well, I don't understand why she's feeling like that.
No, 100%.
Like, the whole time, it's just like, I went through the same thing. I remember when that happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember hating that feeling too. It was awful. So just like, there's so many little things that they come out throughout the movie that just make it so perfect, and just it hurts you a little bit to watch, especially because it's just so much
especially in that scene towards the end where she's talking about like having, it's, you know, when you go on a roller coaster and you have butterflies in your stomach and then you get on the roller coaster and like those butterflies, it goes away. It's like, for me, they don't go away or something like that. And it's like, I get it. It's just like, I don't know why, and like I'm trying, and it's like
it's
broke my heart. But like you said, because it ends so hopeful, it gives you hope too if you've been through something, like if you feel those things too, which I'm sure many people do. So
yeah, absolutely. So this overall, I think, is just, it's a really great movie.
Yeah.
Did you have any final thoughts?
I did, actually. I wanted to point out a few quick notes. Well, actually, I wanted to say a few quick little number stuff here. So it was made for $2 million and it made about $14 million worldwide, which is not a big number at all, but compared to its budget, definitely really profitable. Okay, yeah, and then I had some quick little things I wanted to say. I know this was like a small little detail in the movie, but the shooting drill kind of stuck with me. And I guess it's just, to me, it's like, it's just crazy how that's a reality for them, because growing up, we had lockdown drills and fire drills, but lockdown was never really about specifically shooters. It was just kind of like whoever comes into the school that's not supposed to be there. But now it's like, and because this has become such a reality, it's just like, that's something we have to rehearse.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And there's nothing being done about it.
Yeah.
And
it's driving me crazy.
It drives me insane.
And I know that's an issue too for you specifically, because I know you did a lot.
Yeah. I mean, in high school, I was part of the walkout for like the March for Our Lives, and it
was a really cool thing to be all put together. Yeah.
It's something I'm very passionate about. Yeah. Because it's just like, why have we done nothing to change it?
Yeah.
This has become like a weekly occurrence that there's a shooting now, and we do nothing to change. And it's I could go on about that, but cut me off now.
No, it's okay. I just noticed that. I was like, it's crazy to me, because I know it's just a small detail in the movie, but I'm sure like it's there for a reason, you know. And I just felt like
which is another thing. I feel like throughout the movie he puts in those little things, like again the thing with the internet about like it being kind of dangerous, and then our reality now of just having to have these random school shooter drills, and just like little things like that he puts in the movies that just
makes it feel that much more real. Yes. Along with the LeBron James.
Oh, we didn't touch on that.
We didn't.
The whole auditorium scene where they're doing the superlatives and stuff.
Oh my god, her winning most quiet. I was like, I've never seen that.
Yeah, okay, first of all, why would you have that?
That's so screwed up.
Yeah. Don't have that. But like, I don't know. I just, 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 I don't in a way, I would have liked it better if she hadn't won anything, because she kind of has this like look on her face that's like, maybe I'll win something, because like I know what it's like to just exist, to not be the loser, to not be the popular, to just exist, to just be
Miss
there.
Best Dressed Candidate.
And I didn't win.
Let's not open up that wound.
Yeah, let's. Ow. So like I get the kind of pain that goes into that. It's like, maybe for once I'll be chosen, but it's like, why am I thinking that? Like, I know at the end of the day,
which I think makes it that much more like heartbreaking when she wins for
Yes.
being most quiet, because it's like she knows she's quiet. Like, why do you have
why
to?
do you got to point it out?
Point
more?
it out in front of the entire school and
Yeah.
like,
So
you know.
So it's little things like that.
But the LeBron, stuff like that. Just those. I love just the authenticity too. Is obviously, all these kids legit looked like
Yes.
middle schoolers, which I love, because how many times have we seen movies like high school movies where it's like they're clearly 30 and they're playing
Yeah.
17-year-olds.
It doesn't make sense, but it was so authentic. Like
Yeah.
there were kids in the background making stupid jokes, making stupid noises, saying LeBron James the whole time. Like every time someone would like try and talk, and it was so fitting. And it again is another thing that adds to the authenticity of the whole movie
Yeah.
itself and makes it seem so real. And what makes it hit so hard
Right.
at home, it's just everything about it.
Which I loved that he focused this on not only a middle schooler but a girl too, because he was basically saying he didn't want to project his own experiences on it.
Yeah.
And then also too, he would like look up like kids on YouTube, and like the little boys would talk about Fortnite and Minecraft, and the girls would talk about their souls.
Yeah.
So like clearly for
there's a
him
difference,
there was more to, I guess, explore with a
With the
female
female
character. And especially too, he was even saying like, you know, he feels panic attacks sometimes before his stand-ups, and like he would talk about his anxiety in his stand-ups, and he wouldn't expect this, but the people that would come up to him after saying like, I feel you too, I feel your anxiety, are like girls like Kayla.
Yeah.
So I think he felt a connection there, so I thought it was really cool that he
Yeah.
wanted to tell that story.
Through the eyes of a female. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was
My last note was I wanted to know what your thoughts were on the music, because the first time I saw the movie I didn't love it. And I don't know if I still love it now, but I think it fits the movie.
I think
more.
it fits the movie. Okay, so it gives me like 80s vibes.
Yeah.
Which I think is weird. It's a little misplaced, but in a way it also kind of fits,
It fits.
the chaos I think that's going on.
He was talking about how he wanted electronic music to fit like the digital
age of it. Okay. Yeah, that
So when I heard
makes
that, I was like,
sense.
okay, I get it.
It makes sense, yeah. Yeah, it's a little misplaced in some points, I think, but I think overall it's like the very like upbeat and almost like franticness of the
Yeah, that's going on with her. Yeah,
I
definitely.
think it fits the tone of the movie. So
Okay.
I don't hate it. But it is not something that's like, I think that was perfectly made for the movie.
No, but I don't mind it there, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you have any final points you want to make, or you want to go to the ratings?
I think that's about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I just overall she was me and I was her.
Yeah.
And it hurts to see it.
I was never a 14 middle school 8th grade girl, but I felt her
Yeah.
100% throughout this.
Yeah, I mean, middle school wasn't terrible for me. It also wasn't great. It just was. It was a thing that happened.
I didn't have a good middle school experience, but
Yeah, but let's save that for therapy.
yeah, I don't want to create. Yeah, right.
So yeah,
I'll just go first. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I love this movie. Honestly, I'd never seen a better depiction of social anxiety in a movie. I had never felt that so close to home before. So, also, I wanted to ask you real quick: is it okay if a rating we've given previously to another movie, if we can like change it? Because I want to change my 9s out to a 9. I was thinking about it the other day.
okay, yeah, sure. You can
All right, so these are all 9s here on the channel.
Okay, yeah. My rating for this one is also a 9.
Okay.
I walked out of the movie loving it, even though I hated the entire experience of it.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's really well done. Bo Burnham is he's very
Yeah.
much a genius. I think
He's so cool.
He perfectly portrayed what it's like being a 13-year-old girl, getting ready for high school
Yeah.
and suffering from social anxiety, things like that. Like he hits it right on the
He hits it.
right on the nail. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the correct expression.
Right.
I think it's overall just a really great movie. So if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Again, we forgot
to
warn
give
about
a spoiler
spoilers.
warning at first.
But I don't think we really went over too
We kind of talked about everything.
Spoilers.
But if you haven't seen the movie by this point, please do. It's
Yes,
a great,
do it,
great,
yes.
great watch.
Yeah. Unless you yourself are a 13-year-old girl.
Well, I actually think if you're a 13-year-old girl, you get a lot out of this. Because this was rated R, and they didn't want to appeal it because then they would have to take away stuff. But everything he included was like really the experience. It's like everything in the movie is nothing that they hadn't been exposed to already. But
That's true.
But it sucks because because it was rated R, the target audience, like 8th graders, weren't able to go see it unless their parents took them.
Yeah. And that was another thing. My mom was like, I was talking to my mom, telling her that we were going to do this movie and why I liked it so much. And she was like, oh, maybe I should watch it. I was like, I don't think it's going to have the same effect on you that it has on me because you didn't have like social media.
You didn't grow up with the technology.
You didn't grow up in the same middle school that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's.
I mean, she might. I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know what social anxiety was like for past generations growing up, but it's definitely different. Like technology plays such a huge role in this.
Actually, I asked her. I was like, "What was middle school like for you?" She said, "I don't remember."
So maybe. I mean, it might unlock her memories, or maybe she'll just go.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know what just happened.
So there you have it. So, Martha, did you want to tell our audience what our next movie is going to be?
I'm so excited for this one because this one should have been on my honorable mentions list, but I forgot to add it to the list. But the movie we are going to be doing next week is Rocket Man about Elton John. It's a great movie. It's such a... Don't get me started. I'll start singing. It's such a great movie. I love Elton John, and I have a big thing with Elton John in my family.
You got some Elton John records over there,
Got some Elton John records over here. Some of them you got me, actually, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
So, watch the movie, listen to all of his songs.
Every song.
Every single one of them, and then dress up like him, because that's also fun.
Yes. So. That will be very exciting. We also... saw that in theaters too, and I have not seen it since theaters, so I'm very excited.
I've seen it several times since.
You have? Okay, cool. I'm definitely excited to rewatch it because we'll get into that. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
All right. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, we are on all audio streaming platforms wherever you listen to your podcasts. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are at In a Wider Screen Podcast, and we are on social media.
In terms of our podcast being on social media, we're on it. But we ourselves, no. Yeah.
But for our podcast, you can follow us on Twitter at In Wider, TikTok at In a Wider Screen, and Instagram at In a Wider Screen Podcast.
Yes. So thank you guys for listening in or watching us.
Just like to say real quick, I got my second dose of the vaccine.
Oh, nice.
So if you're able to, please get it.
Absolutely.
I think we definitely, if we want this to end, we got to do it together.
Yes. So let's work together. Keep on social distancing. Wear your mask.
Come on now.
We should make masks with our logo.
In a wider screen.
Those are coming.
Coming up.
But yeah, thank you again for watching. That's it for today's podcast.
See y'all next week. Gucci.
Bye. Oh.